Hey, and welcome to another developer update with Kodon. Yeah, I will be covering. Sorry, let me just fix the mic. Not so much in this. We're gonna keep them a bit incremental, but I want to talk about a few things. Hopefully, you'll stick around for them. Yeah, let me start up with the menu systems. We've changed the menu a little bit. It's really nothing permanent. It's just because we used to have everything on one menu, and that menu was getting huge. So we cut it up into little pieces, and we're going to improve it in the future, of course. But it is a superficial feature, and during development, during the building of a software, it's like building of a house. If you want to keep the floors clean all the time during a building of a house, you're not going to get much construction on the house done. So yeah, it's early access 55. It has been released on the live build, so any version of Kodon that you can get access to now, except for the legacy build on the beta branch, is the most updated version. No, let me clarify. The legacy build is not the most updated version, but every other build is. We added a new environment. It's very basic. It's just a floor going out into infinity. And it is here just to have something neutral, something that's not too distracting. The colors are neutral. White from the lighting. There's a little bit of black hue coming from the sky, but it's not a lot. It's not like with the red environment that tints your models a little bit red in every way. Anyways, we changed the main menu a little bit. We have voxel models, where you load all your voxel models. When you save in the voxel menu, you'll add a new voxel model. They are called .kodon in here, and they should load fairly well. During testing, I've only had one model fail on me, meaning one model that was saved corruptedly. And older models that you might have made before might not work very well. But new models that you make with this version and load with this version should work every time. But keep in mind, this is early access. There are some mistakes that happened. Importing, however, is not as stable. Importing models from other software, particularly 3ds Max, seem to crash the importer, making you not able to import any other models after that without having to restart the software. Now, they usually import just fine, but cause the importer to crash, meaning you can't import again. Yes, so I'm going to start off with a new sculpt. Yeah, and this is a bug that happens sometimes as well. I'm not exactly sure why, but I'm going to look into it. And it is the origin and the symmetry line is not the same. It has a bug that we've had before, but it has come back for some reason. Yes, another thing that we've been working on is the smoothness of the square brush. There's still artifacts, but it is a lot smoother now. So you can enjoy it a little bit more. It does now have an indicator, but I am not completely satisfied with the indicator. For example, the way I want it is that the outer part of the indicator is supposed to tell me how much the brush is going to affect the model, but it does not, and it's not even just the inner part either, and you can make it too small. So we're gonna fix that, and we're gonna make it a little bit more visible. For now, it's very see-through, in my opinion. And yeah, we're gonna work on that. But yeah, the smoothness of the square brush has been improved, so it should be more smooth, not only visually but also during the creation of the mesh. Yeah, so you can sculpt around and you can have more smoothness while you sculpt, which is always a nice thing. Let me catch my thoughts a little bit here. What else did we change? We did some name changes. The shininess has been changed to gloss to reflect, industry standard of glossiness. Roughness, we decided against it. It's really only Unreal that uses the roughness workflow, and the rest use glossiness. And it seems logical, in my opinion, that if you increase something, you would increase the glossiness. There's something more that's added to a surface when it's more glossy. See, this is about 45% gloss. And we kind of agreed on that more should be glossiness instead of more should be roughness, because roughness you kind of take something away, which is this reflection. So yeah, more glossiness. It's a glossiness name. We moved the symmetry enable and disable to the tools menu. Before there was no tools menu, but there was a menu with everything on, and you had symmetry there. And we tried it for a little while, to have no symmetry in the tools menu, but I insisted on having a way to access the symmetry often, because it's a often used feature for me. I turn it on and off when I sculpt, and I find it important. And yeah, if you want to change the kind of symmetry that you use, you can go to the edit screen, you can change the axis here, or you can change the way that it works. So 8-ring and cube, you can also clear in here. Looks like I discovered a bug during the developer's update, which is always great. We always discover bugs in this kind of fast prototyping process of making software. This is just the 2D symmetry. This is not the cube symmetry. So we're gonna have to fix that. And other than that, I think I covered it the most part. New environment. Loading of imported models from other software is a bit buggy. The menus have changed. Voxel models can be saved and loaded. You can export OBJs from voxel mode straight up. You don't have to convert it to a surface model first. You can just straight up save the work and have this checked. It means that it'll make a OBJ from your voxel model at the same time. Same here, you can save your work. Yeah, if we convert to surface, you can save your work here as a PLY file and also export as an OBJ. Now we use PLY to save as a temporary thing because it supports vertex coloring out of the box with alpha channels for our glossiness and metallic channels, which object mode does not support. So that's why we're saving in PLY and call this export. Now this will all be cleared up in the future. We'll have a separate menu. It'll probably be the file menu. all kinds of imports and exports will be there. There won't be this checkbox, and we'll also be going for a hybrid mode, meaning there won't be surface and voxel. Now it says revert to voxel mode here. It is a bit deceiving that it says revert to voxel mode, I have to say. If I make a change here in surface mode and I click revert to voxel, it'll just load up the model that we did before. Now you saw another issue there is that we use the trigger. Now I'm a bit against this for the moment, but we haven't found the time or the decision to make another button interact with the menu. Now we can also just cancel out, like every time you interact with a menu we leave you with like a timer for how long you can interact with the button, but it's because we use the trigger to interact with the button, it sometimes ends up doing stuff on your sculpture. Now of course you can always undo it, but it's a bit annoying, especially when you start a new sculpt. It happens every time, especially if you hold it down. Yes, so the edit thing is kind of like editing your model, the model that you're working on. This is going to be in a separate materials tab. But other than that, you have the system is where you just change things about the system, like the bendy laser. You can add the platform if you like it. You can turn on and off the lamp, which is behind me for right now. You can grab it by proximity for those who like the lamp. Here you can turn on and off all the guides. If you have the Vive, we don't have guides on the Oculus. These guides are not permanent for the Vive either, so we don't even know if we'll add them to the Oculus. We'll do something better. But for now they're only on the Vive. And if you're on the Oculus, I'm sorry, but you're just gonna have to be clever and figure things out on your own there. I don't like the guides because, you know, I saw somebody questioning the fact that you can't see your power, and that this can be annoying. That you can't see the power, but you can if you turn on the size and power in guide. And finally we added ambient occlusion. It is just a basic screen space ambient occlusion, so it does not work great with VR, and it is not something we spent a lot of time on, so don't think that we spent a lot of time adding a ambient occlusion that's not great. It's temporary and it's graphics heavy, as it says. Yeah, so if you're getting graphical issues, performance and slowdown, check if ambient occlusion is on and turn it off, and only turn it on if you want to view your model with some sort of ambient occlusion on. But it has shown itself to be useful, in my opinion. So it has its uses, even though it's just temporary. And we're going to add a much better ambient occlusion in the future, that it's not a post effect, because this one is just post-processing screen space effect. So yeah, in the future, for the next patch, I guess I'll talk about that as a final ending. What we want to do is we want to turn the system into a hybrid system. That's why we rewrote the voxel engine. Well, it was for many reasons. One, to make sure that it's a lot smoother, and two, to make sure that we can use it in conjunction with surface tools. So once we get that all sorted out, you can use surface tools at the same time. Like, we'll have a toolbox here that it's much more indicated than just these. The text will have, you know, image indicators and stuff, but we'll have all of the tools here instead of you having to switch to surface mode to get access to like move and smooth and crease and all that stuff. We'll have it all in one mode. And we also gonna add for the next patch multi-object, like the next big patch. There'll be smaller patches along the way that just keeps it incremental updated. But for the main part, for the main update in the future, like 0.60, you can expect multi-objects that we can, do Boolean operations on, merge, subtract. You can expect basically everything that has to do with high poly modeling and sculpting. That's going to be the next patch. It's going to really perfect it. And after that, we're going to move on to some cool surface things. Basic texturing, automatic unwrapping, basic decimation, the kind of stuff that you would need to prepare an asset for a game, but only in its basic form until we add like really good manual retopology and quad-based subdivision and retopology. But yeah, so next patch, look forward to a lot better sculpting for high poly models. Not just concepting, but really building out your high poly projects with multiple objects and hierarchies in ways to manipulate them and have them stick together in nice ways. Yep. So I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of update. I will see you guys in the future with another one, of course. I'm going to try and keep these going and keep them unprofessional. No, not unprofessional, but low-key and down to earth. I think that's the best way to like talk about things. It makes it so that I don't have to plan like a whole big video and write the script and everything. It just takes too much time, and so I can spend more time developing the product. I hope you guys enjoy Kodon. I hope you guys enjoyed this update, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the future.